2025. And me. A quorum is present, and the Minnesota Senate Education Finance Committee will come to order. I would like to just point out that yesterday the governor declared yesterday, March 3rd, as Third Grader Day. And so I wanted to give a little shout out to third graders. Third grade is a really tough year in the lifespan of a kid. There's a lot of expectations, a lot of testing, a lot of physical and social emotional and you know, just the socialness of a third grader. And so I just want to thank Karen Wadena. She was the third grader that sent the letter in to advocate for her fellow third graders, and just wish all those third graders all the best as they finish out their school year. We know that testing season is coming up, and that's a hard one for third graders. So we wish all our third graders all the best in this next testing cycle. This morning, we are going to hear an update from the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. We'll hear Senator Champion's Senate File 110, Senator Putnam's 328, and Senator Clark's 2002. We've got a really full agenda today, so we're going to get going and begin with Senate File 110, Senator Champion. Welcome to the committee. And Senator Westland, would you like to move Senate File 110 before the committee?
So moved.
Thank you. All right, Senator Champion, your bill.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much, Madam Chair, for telling us about it being Third Graders Day. You know, that's always interesting because, you know, there was a time when we learned to read, and now we read to learn. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited also about the proposal that is before you, which is the Learning with Music program at McPhail Center for Music. And I just want to contextualize it by stating that the purpose of this is that Learning with Music addresses concerns that young children, and we were just talking about that, experiencing economic hardship, face a high probability of not being ready for school than others. Learning with Music uses music as a tool to address this issue. So quality early childhood education is critical in promoting the development of our youngest learners and their future success. The Learning with Music program is an amazing program with evidence-based results demonstrating dramatic gains for our youngest learners in their school readiness skills. And the Learning with Music program developed by McPhail Center for Music is unique because it trains early childhood educators to incorporate musical activities throughout their school day at early childhood centers. And Learning with Music has proven results. A longitudinal study was conducted over a 3-year period, and research shows that 150% greater growth in children's inhibitory control. And this research study has been published by the Early Childhood Research Quarterly. So active participation in music positively impacts the development of school readiness skills, setting the stage for children to be ready to learn. But it also this program provides resources for early childhood educators who work with our youngest learners experiencing economic hardship to support school readiness. And the combination of this integrated musical play and quality early childhood programming is powerful and could be a tool that helps us reduce the achievement gap statewide. And we've heard how there have been gains, but there's always room for improvement. The last thing that I'll say is that there was a Harvard study from 2001 that shows that there's evidence to provide academic improvement, that there's a connection and nexus between academics and art, and there being this improvement. But the arts not only teaches music, but they have other benefits that we believe to be so important for student success. And so with that being said, Madam Chair, I would like to ask the committee to entertain a brief comment from Diana Babcock, who is the director of Sing, Play, Learn from McPhail, and then she would be followed by Angela Clare, who's the director of Wilder Child Development Center. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Champion. And Ms. Babcock, if you would like to introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm Madam Chair Kunish, Madam Vice Chair Gustafson, and the Senate Education Committee. My name is Diana Babcock. I'm the Director of Sing, Play, Learn at McPhail Center for Music. And Sing, Play, Learn is our early childhood music program. We work with ages 6 weeks to 8 years in various settings all over the metro area. I'm excited to tell you about our Learning with Music program, Bill SF 110. As Senator Champion said, quality early childhood education is the key to setting the stage for a young child's success in school and life. And we know economic hardship sadly sets them behind in various factors such as social-emotional development, executive functioning skills, and school readiness deficiencies. The missing link that I have found over the years is music. And music is fun and engaging. It gets kids' attention. It's such an engaging way to teach young children. It promotes self-regulation and emotion regulation. It helps them to be able to focus to learn. Just like when you listen to something on the radio that catches your attention, it helps you to again, focus, learn, and calm down and be ready for the day. Music is one of those few activities that activates both sides of the brain as well. So it has that physiological piece that makes it so important. And when music is integrated into learning for our youngest learners, we see that learning improves. And I have seen this over 30-some years at McPhail Center for Music, and in particular with our Learning with Music program the last 20 years. As Senator Champion said, we have tested results and proven results. Learning with Music, as he said, is an evidence-based program. We have developed it over 20 years, and we've developed it because we noticed that early childhood educators weren't always naturally tending towards using music in the classroom. And so we found that it was such an effective tool that we wanted to test this out. And we started actually at Wilder Child Development Center over 20 years ago, testing these hypotheses. It's unique, as Champion said. We also, the key to it is really training the early childhood teachers how to use music in the classroom. Rather than just singing at group time, we want them to be singing everywhere, when they're lining up at the door, when they're putting their coats on, when they're eating their, getting ready to eat lunch, when they're building with blocks, when they're dealing with problems and issues and stresses. We want the teachers to be able to use music. And we know that it works because we see the impact directly on how the children are, again, able to focus because it's novel and interesting, and then able to attend to the tasks that are at hand. So music helps them to be able to focus and learn. And as we did that wonderful research project, we actually did 2 research projects during that 2013 to 2018 time period where we saw those amazing results of 150% increase, greater gain in their children's ability to be able to regulate and emotionally regulate. The thing that's interesting about that is, as we mentioned early on, that those children that are even greater impact are those that are economically disadvantaged, living in economic hardship. And those are the students we have focused on with this program over the many years. Adding that with a quality early childhood education program makes a huge difference. So when we're working with programs such as Wilder Child Development Center, Jeremiah program, which you'll hear from in just a second, we're really wanting to collaborate and to find ways to again bridge the gap between quality early childhood education and adding music integration. With the use of the support that you have provided with us this last biennium, we have impacted many teachers, early childhood teachers, families, parents, and of course, many children at several locations. With the support that you've provided, we've worked with 5 different preschools and with infants through preschoolers, in addition to creating lots of teacher resources. We are launching our website today. That will be a soft launch with the early childhood programs that we're currently working with teacher resources such as tip sheets, flashcards, and videos on how to use music to work on dealing with transitions, daily routines, and big feelings. Big feelings is kind of a hot topic. And so we're excited to get that launched. It'll be publicly launched in April, where it'll be open to the public. So those are some exciting things that we're doing. We've been collecting data with these programs that we've been providing the direct instruction with and training. And right now, the results look really positive. We're seeing lots of great results with, again, emotion regulation and self-regulation, inhibitory control. And that's through the coaching of the teachers. And so when we're not there, they're continuing on using those skills that we've taught them and those resources. And this is all through a third-party researcher, Wilder Research, which is providing our data. So with additional support from the Minnesota Department of Education, we would expand the impact of our programming to the larger early childhood community in Minnesota through resource sharing as we grow our Learning with Music resources, through the creation of more online training opportunities and the expansion of in-person programming. Our youngest learners are our future, and they need our support. So I really appreciate you listening today. I would like to now introduce you to two of our Learning with Music leaders that are working with us currently. Angela Clare, a Director of Early Childhood Education at Wilder Child Development Center, and Lily Crooks, which we'll pull up here in a second, the Director of Early Childhood Education at the Jeremiah Program in St. Paul.
Thank you so
for your
much.
time. I was just going to say thank you for your time and support.
Sure. Ms. Clare, if you would like to introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Angela Clare, and I am the director of the Wilder Child Development Center. I'm really excited to speak about this program to all of you today. As a recipient of this program, I was a teacher that received some of this coaching and support way back when we started our partnership 20 years ago. It was invaluable to learn about the effects of music and how music can help children learn. They just pick up things differently. Their brain is triggered in a different way to where if you're just talking about letters or numbers, they're catching on in a certain way, but music just ignites a different part of their brain to have them catch on to what you're doing. And so I was really excited that we got to continue that partnership with our teachers that we have now. Social emotional learning we know is key, but it's also a huge predictor of success for children. And using music in the classroom helps children to have that social emotional awareness and self-regulation skills that we know they need to be ready for kindergarten. Some of the things that I've seen with children in our program is that you can have a child that it's normal for a preschooler to have a tantrum or a meltdown or something that they're really upset about, and they need support to help calm themselves down so that they can get to the thinking or problem-solving phase of the situation. In using music, you can literally see it on their face where they pause, they take a moment to think about what's going on differently. And when a teacher starts singing to them to help them take deep breaths and calm down, you have a better outcome of how they can problem solve. So we've been able to see that in real time. And even more recently, in the last couple of years, we've had more children that have come to us that are struggling in social emotional for a lot of different reasons. And so being able to support them with the music in the classroom, but also having a teacher that is coached and trained in using this music, it's a perfect partnership where children are able to express themselves, they're able to calm themselves down when they need to. They're also able to follow the routines and the schedules of the day in a way where teachers also aren't as stressed, because when you're singing, you just feel a little, it's a little different. So that's one component. And the second that I want to share is just about the support for the teachers. Music is not something that is necessarily taught in coursework to early childhood professionals. And so we know that music's important, but this partnership here really gives you the information of why is this important? Why does music matter? And what does it do for our children? And so you get to learn that, and then the coaches get to come in and help support that in the classroom. So if there is a situation in the classroom going on, the coach starts singing to teach the teachers, like, here's how you can use music. And it's been very helpful for our children. So I hope that we can continue to have this funding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Clare. And lastly, we will have Ms. Crooks. If you would like to join us, state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Good morning. I'm Lily Crooks. I'm the Center Director at the Jeremiah Program in St. Paul. We primarily work with single mothers pursuing their college degrees, and who are experiencing poverty, and we serve children age 6 weeks to kindergarten. I've been working with McPhail for about a year, and while I don't have stats handy, I'd be happy to anecdotally share with you that since we began working with McPhail and our coach, transition times, which typically caused much wailing and gnashing of teeth, have had significantly less wailing. It's incredible to see just that small difference, the quiet in the hallways, the singing in the hallways, the joyful move from playing to cleaning up rather than not joyful. Cleaning up is hard, but when you have a song that goes with it, it makes all of the difference. Working with an arts program is a huge benefit for our families and for our children and also for our staff. Early childhood educators are professionals and work very hard, but they often don't get a lot of support. And so having a program coming in weekly to bounce ideas off of, to hone and enhance their skills with the children has been truly invaluable. Also, I could talk a lot about the benefits of the program with the children, but I do want to share that early childhood education programs often are working on very thin margins. It is very difficult to keep our prices competitive and affordable for families, pay our staff well, and keep up with all of the many licensing requirements. And without funding support, I don't know that we would be able to provide this sort of enrichment and this added benefit for our kids. And it's been such a huge joyful experience this last year, and I really hope that that funding will continue so that we can continue to provide this excellent service for both our staff and our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love that expression, joyful move or joyful transition. I have a temporary, my granddaughter, 2.5, is staying with us, and bedtime has not been so joyful. So now I'm thinking, what song can we use tonight? So thanks for all of that. Members, any comment or questions? Senator Westland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for bringing this, Senator Champion, and thank you to the testifiers. I think this is an incredible program, and I think my understanding about the brain science behind this is when kids are engaging in music, it actually engages all parts of their brain, and it helps connect all of those little synapses in there. And so I appreciate the work that you're doing with our kids in bringing music throughout their day, not just for a specified music time. And it seems to me that we're seeing such wonderful results from that. So thank you.
And Madam Chair, if I could just say, thank you, Senator Westland, for saying that. And if you stop and just think for a second how important music has been and how it's been important in every aspect of our life, I'd just like to quickly say there's a program called Musical Beginnings where they use doulas and music to help prepare mothers for birth. And so then you think about this sort of program, but then you also think about how important music is, because most doctors and lawyers also have some sort of musical background, whether it's playing an instrument, where there's something, because there's been that enhanced opportunity by way of music. And then I'm looking at Senator Lucero, who is so incredibly dressed and ready for the Mardi Gras, and we know that the Mardi Gras is really about music and fun and having a good time. And even when we think in terms of our own lives, that we can think of music that we've grown up with, that is the soundtrack of our lives. So that is just to underscore the importance of music, but really from the beginning, if we can do everything that we can in order to help our kids be on this journey of lifelong learning, but also appreciation music in a way that enhances their academic performance.
Thank you for that reminder. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, well then, Senator Champion, those maybe were your closing remarks. Any more closing remarks?
No, just thank you for the time, and I hope that when you put together your omnibus bill, that this program will be included. So thank you so very much.
Thanks. And so with that, Senate File 110 is laid over for possible inclusion in a future omnibus bill. Thank you all for sharing your wonderful experiences this morning. All right, next we have a presentation from our Assistant Commissioner, Diane Halsey, from the Department of Children, Youth, and Families.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chair Kanesh and members of the committee.
Yeah, state your name and you may begin.
I am Diane Halsey, and I am the Assistant Commissioner of Early Childhood at the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And I know you have a really packed agenda today, so before we get started, I just want to check in to see how much time do you feel you've allotted for this presentation? I don't want to go over.
I think we've got about 15 minutes or so.
15 minutes,
Oh.
great.
45 minutes. Whoa, a little bit more, 45.
45 minutes, okay. I may not take all of that time, but we'll see. So if you see, we have a list of slides. I'm basically here today to kind of give you a brief overview of the department, the new department, and also talk about the programs that are, that will be under your jurisdiction. So as you know, on July 1st of 2024, Minnesota launched a new state agency to create a sustainable public face for children's issues in state government with aligned outcomes and policy, improving the front door services and easing access for navigation for families. Up here on the slide, we have our draft agency vision and also the One Minnesota vision. The hope is that DCYF would be established to ensure that children are at the center of government and that there's a clear front door to access services and programs, and that there are opportunities to better coordinate funding, programs, and outcomes for children and families. The previous decentralized structure reduced the state's ability to focus on children and families. And so it's really exciting to be at an agency now that is breaking down those silos. So DCYF has decided to focus our approach using a whole family systems. And what this means is that we look at the whole family. We approach each practice, each program, and policy decision in a way that recognizes and addresses not only the needs of children, but of the whole family and the adults and the children's lives. Young children thrive and develop when their families are also thriving and supported. When a family has the support they need and they feel engaged with their child's learning environment, children are more likely to attend school, ready to learn and grow. This slide kind of gives you a picture of the breadth of programs and the population that DCYF serves across the state. It includes voluntary pre-kindergarten, child care assistance, early learning scholarships, families served in the North Star for Children program, also the SNAP program, that's the supplemental nutrition program, and also parents and children that receive child support services. Some of these programs, like voluntary pre-kindergarten, are direct supports to schools as they support young learners. But other programs, like I mentioned, SNAP and other programs like that, are programs that families have so they can access food, so they can attend school ready to learn. And child support also helps to ensure that there are resources in a child's home to meet their needs. All of these programs share a goal of getting our youngest Minnesotans off to a best start so they can learn and grow and thrive. This slide lists all the programs that have or will be transferred to DCYF. I'm not going to go through and read each of these programs, but it's important to note that programs have been or will be transferred from the Children and Family Services Program and related Officer of the Inspector General programs from the Department of Human Services, programs from the Office of Teaching and Learning at the Department of Education, programs from the Department of Public Safety related to youth justice, and the Help Me Connect program from the Department of Health. This slide shows a timeline of when programs are transferring or have been transferred. The Early Learning Services program from the Department of Education was one of the first to transfer in July of 2024. Also of note is that the after-school community grant program will transfer if additional funding is appropriated. In the meantime, that program's grants are funded through FY 2027. For your reference, this slide provides an organizational chart for the agency executive leadership and program structure with the 4 policy administrations. Currently, DCYF programs are divided into these 4 programs, and each has their own assistant commissioner. Our own early childhood administration includes programs that support young children in a variety of early care and education settings, including schools, child care, and Head Start. It combines the Child Care Services Division from the Department of Education and the Early Learning Services Program from the Department of Education and the Help Me Connect program from the Department of Health. So that's a little bit about our agency and the transition. In terms of how our programs connect to your work, this slide right here, we borrowed from Senate Council Research and Fiscal Analysis, and so you probably have seen it before. But it shows the programs under this committee's jurisdiction and those that we understand have transferred under the jurisdiction to the Senate Health and Human Services Committee. So a couple of the bullet points, especially ECFE at tribal schools and the kindergarten fall assessment, do remain at MDE, but overall this slide is helpful for orienting us to the programs that will be discussed today. So what are those programs? Generally speaking, the state's role in early learning programs in schools is related to monitoring fiscal aspects, supporting best practices, and facilitating connections across care and education programs so that local schools can leverage each other's knowledge and experience, and schools can make connections with other early care and education providers. While schools have day-to-day oversight and the ability to meet the needs of their community. So that's important to note. Particularly in the space of early care and education, the mixed delivery system, which is a name that we've given for a model where young children are served by a combination of programs, including public schools, family and center-based child care, Head Start, early childhood special education, and community organizations. The day-to-day delivery of services and programming can look and feel very different depending on which community you live in. So first, we're going to start with the voluntary pre-K program. Voluntary pre-kindergarten, or VPK as we call it, is a high-quality publicly funded pre-kindergarten program designed to support eligible 4-year-old children and their families as they enter kindergarten. Programs use play-based learning, have a 1-to-10 teacher ratio, and offer family-centered programming to create learning opportunities that meet the needs of families. VPK is not a universal pre-kindergarten program, but rather funding for a fixed number of seats statewide that can be used to fund spots for eligible children for up to 0.6 average daily membership, or ADM, or 60% of a full day of school. Examples of eligibility criteria include being eligible for free or reduced price meals, English language learner, has experienced homelessness in the last 24 months, is in foster care, or is defined by the school district as being at risk. The number of spots funded across the state was increased in the 2023 legislature from 7,160 to 12,360, giving us 5,200 more families access to affordable early learning opportunities. These 12,360 spots are allocated to school districts and charter schools through an application process and following a specific process in law that distributes them by regions across the state. Where there is a limited amount of state funding for the program, a child may participate in VPK class on fee-for-service basis if they do not meet eligibility criteria in law or if state funding is not available. A positive change for district and schools coming out in the 2023 legislative session was the change from an annual application process to one every 4 years, thereby reducing their administrative burden. Because seats are limited and statute provides schools that have received seats previously continue to receive those seats, an annual application process did not effectively result in changes to allocations. So some of the upcoming changes for this program, the formal sunsetting of what was essentially the same program as the two programs merged together is happening in the upcoming school year, and the teacher licensure requirement that will go into effect in 2028 for this and other school-based early learning programs. Research has shown that children do better in full-day early care and education, and it's administratively burdensome at the state and local level, including making it challenging for districts to fund comparably compensated teachers and required transportation. So that's one of the burdens that the schools have been having with it only being at a 0.6 ADM or partial funding for the day. This is an ongoing conversation that we will continue to have with our school districts as they navigate those challenges. School readiness. School readiness is a fixed annual appropriation of just under $34 million that is for supporting 3- and 4-year-olds in school-based programming with the goal of preparing them to enter kindergarten. Funding is allocated to districts based in part upon census data around 3- and 4-year-olds who live in that district. As you can see, many of the districts receive a fairly low amount. Last fiscal year, nearly 3/4 of districts received less than $50,000. There are program requirements in law, such as the program must be supervised by a licensed early childhood teacher or licensed parent educator and have no more than 1-to-10 ratio. But those quality indicators can be challenging to meet with this funding, since the funding is not that much. Most school readiness programs are dependent on parent fees and tuition and other sources of revenue like early learning scholarships and in-kind district funds, with over half of the revenue districts report from this program coming from fee-for-service. ECFE, or Early Childhood Family Education, is intended to provide education for parents and caregivers to support a child's learning and development. Programming looks different in every community, with schools being required to conduct an annual community needs assessment. For instance, I recently visited the Rochester ECFE program, which is one of our flagship ECFE programs, where they have tailored their programming to meet a growing diverse community, with many families coming to Rochester all over the world to work at the Mayo Clinic. Through the program offerings, though the program offerings can look different, they include components of learning activities for children, parent-child interaction time led by a licensed early childhood teacher, and parent and caregiver discussion led by a licensed parent educator. The vast majority of districts in our state have ECF programs. So out of the 327 school districts we have, 324 have an ECFE program. Recent progress for this program includes dedicated funding for 2 ECFE specialists at the department, and advocates led this push because they saw the value of state-level support for their workforce and programs. This slide shows the program participation from FY22 and FY23 for the 3 and 4 programs that I just touched base on. So that's ECFE, School Readiness Plus, Voluntary Pre-K, and then there's a total at the bottom. Noting that School Readiness Plus is being merged into VPK for the upcoming school year, but is currently a separate data sheet. The total of all of the children served is 40,197, and this is an unduplicated count showing the number of individual children impacted by one or more programs listed here. This slide also shows more data about the same 3 or 4 programs in terms of the racial and ethnic background for your reference. So this is the racial and ethnic background of participants. The next program I'm going to talk about is Part C. This is a federal grant to states under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, as it's often called. It supports states to operate comprehensive early intervention services for infants and toddlers with disabilities. When Congress developed the program in 1986, there were 3 themes that provided the foundation for this legislation. The first, that infants and young children are viewed as whole persons whose needs must be met by service strategies that cut across the traditional discipline, programmatic and funding categories, and boundaries. Second, that the development of infants and young children can best be fully appreciated, understood, and promoted with the context of the family environment. And last, that early intervention is most effective when parents are respected and empowered as consumers and team members collaborating with professionals. In short, Part C was an early adopter of the whole family systems approach that I mentioned earlier. So Part C in Minnesota, while federal law established several program requirements that need to be met with state statute or guidance, there is some flexibility for how states implement Part C. So first, it's important to note that Minnesota is a birth mandate state. And what that means is that Part C services happen through schools under free and appropriate public education requirements. The impact for families of the choice Minnesota has made here is significant. It means that there are no costs for services to families who have a child identified with a disability. While services are provided via local school districts and have local control over services, the state does maintain a referral system for families known as Help Me Grow. Each state's governor designates a lead agency as the single line of authority for the Part C program, and lead agencies vary from state to state. The lead agency must be the state education, health, human services, developmental disabilities, or other agency that is responsible for programs for young children and their families. Each year, the lead agency is required to submit an application for continued participation in Part C. With the creation of DCYF, aspects of Part C shifted from the Department of Education to DCYF, making Minnesota a co-lead state. This slide shows how responsibilities for Part C are split. In short, the Department of Education maintains fiscal and monitoring responsibilities, while the more programmatic aspects, such as interagency work, have transferred to DCYF. While school districts are Part C providers, services are required to be provided in a child's natural environment, meaning that many of the services are provided directly in child care or Head Start settings and also in a child's home. Having these elements housed at DCYF is intended to help support coordination between all of these types of settings, with the overarching goal of getting effective services to the children and families who they're intended to support. This slide has some Part C data that shows the participation. As you can see from the right, 2020 to going to the left to 2023, participation has increased over the years, with a notable year of 2020 and the onset of the pandemic. At the same time, school districts are struggling with staffing and meeting families' needs as a result, including federally required timelines for responding to referrals through Help Me Grow. The 2023 legislature made important investments in supporting the recruitment and retention of staff with dedicated funding in the spaces of early childhood and special education. And it's important that we continue our collective support of this work. Next, I want to talk about health and development screening. This may also be known as early childhood screening. The early childhood screening is not an evaluation, nor does it diagnose conditions. What it does is identify possible health and/or developmental concerns in young children, specifically targeted at those 3 to 4 years old, with the intent to link them with the supportive early learning opportunities, including early childhood special education services or other community resources. Screening includes a health review to examine vision and hearing and height and weight, for example. And a review of learning and development include language and speaking skills, social emotional development, and motor skills. This is required for school districts and cooperatives to complete an enrollment at minimum, and screening outcomes are reported to MDE. This is a fixed reimbursement for school districts based upon the number of children they screen. So the amount of reimbursement is tiered to encourage districts' efforts to screen early, as early intervention is the most effective intervention. So you'll see on this slide where the younger the child is, the greater the reimbursement a school district receives. So this slide, I want to mention a couple of grants. The first is the only current general fund grant supported by DCYF that falls into this committee's jurisdiction. That is a $500,000 per year appropriation to address a need to align early childhood curriculum being taught to aspiring teachers at institutes of higher education. For this reason and alignment to other programs, it is transferred to the Office of Higher Education, or OHE, for administration, but it's supported by staff at DCYF. And lastly, I'd like to mention the work that Minnesota has been doing that's supported by our $27 million federal preschool development grant. This grant is available from 2024 through 2027, and is supporting work in the space of mixed delivery, supporting aspiring youth in high school, to enter the early education field, and importantly, supporting dedicated early childhood coaching for schools. There is currently a gap in support that early childhood professionals and school-based programs have access to. And they cannot access supports that early educators and licensed childcare can via Parent Aware, nor do they have access to the K-12 supports provided through MDE's Continuous Improvement Compass model. So having access to these federal resources, at least temporarily, to support the important work early educators in school do is impactful, and we are excited about all that the federal grant can offer our state. So with that, I just want to say thank you for taking time to listen to this presentation. We are thankful for the committee's support and interest in early childhood and the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. We are excited about the new department. I'm excited about the new department. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much for that overview. It kind of brings everything into perspective. We know that we've been pulling things and putting things together and shifting folks and putting grants in place. My question off the bat, and then if anybody else has a question, is do you have a rough estimate of how much of this department relies on federal dollars?
Chair Kanesh, the number that I have heard is that we have about 60% of our funding is federal at DCYF.
And then if those federal dollars were to go away, what would the consequences be to Minnesota families, to Minnesota students, and we're talking across the state?
Chair Kanesh, I don't have an exact estimate. This is something that a lot of really smart people are working on right now internally to try to determine that. But I can, at short, say it would have tremendous impact on the children and families in Minnesota if the funds that we rely on, the federal dollars that we rely on at DCYF were to go away.
And have you received any communication from the federal government, or are you preparing for any cuts or withdrawal of funds that you are aware of?
Chair Kanish, at this present time, we have not heard anything that would indicate any changes, but it is something that we are monitoring daily, and we are in close communication with the governor's office on.
Thank you. Any questions? Senator Lucero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And along those same lines, it's understood now that there's over $600 million of fraud that has occurred under Governor Walz's watch. And I'm wondering, do you have any data that would show how many times this program or your department would be able to be funded based on the amount of fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur?
Senator Lucero, we've been very intentional about putting in place those safeguards against fraud. In fact, last year we created the Department of Investigator General to ensure that these things are happening. Today we are focusing on this office as it is. We have there is no suggestion, there is no hint, there is no evidence of any kind of fraud. So I would ask you to keep your questions and your comments specifically to this department, and any of your fraud questions you can take up with the Office of Investigative General. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, you were discussing funding, so my question is in regards to funding. And so if there's concerns over potential dollars at the federal level not coming, the amount of fraud that's occurred could potentially backfill that. And that is the intent of my question. But I can see that you're intercepting and not interested in having that allowed to be answered. So I thank you for at least my attempt.
Thank you. Anyone else with a question or comment? All right, well, thank you both so much for that bit of information. And members, if you do have other questions, feel free to take them offline. All right, next we are going to have a quick presentation from our Senate nonpartisan fiscal analyst, Jenna Hoffer. She's going to share updates to our committee jurisdiction around this new department. And so members, if you want to pull out, there's a small spreadsheet in your packet. And I believe you may get going, Ms. Hofer.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. As Madam Chair indicated, there is a spreadsheet in your packet. In the top left corner, it's labeled 2025 Legislature, Senate Education Finance Committee, MDE Early Childhood Appropriation Realignment. This spreadsheet shows all of the early childhood programs that received appropriations under the last budget directly to the Department of Education that have ongoing funding in fiscal year 26 and later. The spreadsheet shows how the programs will be funded under the November forecast and forward, and that is shown by both the agencies as well as how the Senate committee structure will be dividing up these appropriations. I won't read each line to you individually, but I will go through and describe in a little bit more detail how these work. So line 1 begins the programs that will be appropriated to the Department of Education under the next budget. There are 3 programs that will be, the funding will be appropriated directly to MDE. All of these programs fall under the Education Finance Committee's budget jurisdiction. Line 6 is appropriations that will be made to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and these appropriations will be divided between the Education Finance Committee and the Health and Human Services Committee. Lines 8 through 14 show the appropriations that will be made in the Education Finance Omnibus Bill to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And several of these appropriations will be transferred to the Department of Education to provide funding directly to the school districts. Lines 16 through 25 show appropriations that will no longer be tracked within the Education Finance Committee. These will be tracked within the Health and Human Services Committee, as they now fall under that committee's jurisdiction. These appropriations will be made directly to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families in the Health and Human Services Committee. Lines 28 and 29 show the funding that will be appropriated each year by the Education Finance Committee and the Health and Human Services Committee, and these amounts reflect the November 2024 forecast. I will also note for you that in the division of these appropriations, a variety of factors were considered. First of all, we looked to statute to guide how these appropriations would be divided. In a number of instances, with the recodification bill that passed last year, language was added that required the Commissioner of DCYF and the Commissioner of MDE to enter into agreements under which the Department of Education would distribute funds to school districts using existing systems at the Department of Education. Those are the appropriations that will be made within the Education Finance Committee and then transferred to MDE. So these would be developmental screening aid, the early childhood family education aid, school readiness, as well as voluntary pre-kindergarten, and then any funds attributable to early childhood special education funding that flow through the special education funding formula. Additionally, these programs are paid on the K-12 education payment shift. And so for that reason, it made sense to keep those within the Education Finance Committee's jurisdiction. There are also 2 programs that have levy components, and those programs are the Early Childhood Family Education Program and the Early Childhood Family Home Visiting Aid. And so with both of those have levy components. For ECFE, the annual levy is between 22 and 24 million per year. And then for ECFE home visiting, it's between $800 and $9,000 annually. And there's a footnote for those on the bottom as they're not included in the table. Additionally, voluntary pre-kindergarten and early childhood special education funding. For those, the payments flow through existing K-12 funding formulas, such as the general education and special education funding formulas. And for those reasons, those appropriations will continue to be made from this committee directly to the Department of Education. So, Madam Chair, I am glad to answer any questions the committee has at this point or later.
Thank you, Ms. Hofer. Any questions, members? All right. Well, thank you for putting this together for us, Ms. Hofer, and for your really simple breakdown of how this is all allocated. I appreciate that. All right. Okay. All right. We are just going to pause for a minute. Senator Putnam is on his way. In the next bill we have up is his Senate File 328, and we will just take a moment for him to arrive. Senator Putnam, come to the table. Members, we are here to hear Senator Putnam's Senate File 328. Senator Swedzinski, would you please move Senate File 328?
So move.
Great. And members, we plan to be laying this over for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill. Senator Putnam, you have an amendment, an A1 amendment?
I do, Madam Chair.
Would you please speak to that and let us know what it is?
The original appropriation was directed from the Department of Education. We've been advised that it's more appropriate for it to come from the Department of Children's Youth and Family. That is the nature of the amendment.
Thank you, Senator Putnam. Members, any questions or comments? Oh, Senator Gustafson, would you move the amendment, please?
Yes, so moved.
All right. Members, any questions or comments? All right. With that, the A1 amendment, all in favor of adopting the A1 amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. So the amendment passes, and Senator Putnam, please speak to your bill.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and members, for hearing the bill. Look, I'm really excited about this thing for at least 3 reasons. The first of which is that it's an opportunity to share with you all something that has worked incredibly well in St. Cloud and give us the opportunity to celebrate and support collaboration. Secondly, I think it's a pretty great thing because now, as you hear what we're doing in St. Cloud, you can do this in your own districts as well. And last, you get to meet my cool friends, and I get to brag about something that we're doing in St. Cloud right now. So those are the 3 main reasons why I'm so thankful to you, Madam Chair, for letting us hear the bill. What the bill does is it supports a collaboration between the St. Cloud Rotary Club and our Independent School District 742. A couple years ago, we realized that we had over 200 kids waiting on a wait list for preschool. And if you know anything about my community, you know that that number is actually significantly higher due to the number of families who aren't even aware that preschool is an option. So several years ago, our Rotary Club joined with our public schools, and through philanthropy and through the generosity of some of our local businesses, they were able to offer more seats and create basically a new preschool model. So members, today we're here to talk about how we as the state can support this work, realizing that it is a wonderful opportunity for the kids in St. Cloud, but also for the kids in your districts as well, because this is something that you can do too, now that you know that we're doing it. In terms of its sustainability and reach, that's why we're asking for state support. Again, not just for the school district, but to facilitate the collaboration between private industry and the public school district. And Madam Chair, I do have a number of testifiers here to tell us a little bit more about it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let's begin with Ms. Holmgren and Ms. Hanson. If you'd like to come to the microphones, and when you speak, let's see, Ms. Hanson, we'll need you to join us. There you are. Lovely. Please state your name for the record, and you may begin.
I'm Gayla Holmgren. Yes.
Good morning, Nicole. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I'm a Rotarian, 37 years Rotarian, a retired school administrator, pre-K through college level. And I'm chair of the Preschool for Success program that Senator Putnam just mentioned. And it started 4 years ago out of a diversity, equity, and inclusion goal that was a national goal for Rotary. And out of that, there was a book club discussion of about 12 of us. In fact, Senator Putnam was there. And we looked at the achievement gap and the diversity and equity issues in our community. And a passion came out of that we needed to do something about it in our community. And then the idea of the preschool idea formed, because we really believe that kids that start behind stay behind. And some of the research, we went back to our club to sell them on the project because it was a signature project and we would be donating large funds from our foundation. And some of the information we shared with them is that 35,000 kids in Minnesota start kindergarten without the necessary skills to be successful. And we also told them that first 5 years has so much to do with the next 80 years, as Bill Gates said. Some of the research that we used to convince our club to take this project on, and that I think would be valuable in all of your community, is that there's a return to the investors Our return to the community for every dollar invested in preschool is a $16 return, or another way to say it, a 7 to 10% return on the investment. And it's not just an economical issue, it's also an issue with humanitarian issue. Kids that are involved in preschool are more successful in school. And one of the studies that I really am excited about, that was a long-term study, 40 years in Michigan, followed kids that were in preschool for 40 years. They found when they were in school that they had less referrals to special ed, less disciplinary actions, were more successful academically, and had higher graduation rates. And also in your PowerPoint, you can see it was 80% compared to 60% in the control group and the population in preschool. They also found, which was really kind of astonishing, had long-term effects as far as employment and health. They followed these kids for 40 years. It was interesting when we shared this at a school board meeting, Willie Jett, who was our superintendent at that time, responded that he was involved in such a program as a preschooler and was followed throughout his career to see what kind of academic success he had. And of course, he was very successful. What we believed is that it does take a village to raise a child. And so we formed this partnership with the school district, and it is a 50-50 partnership financially. And it's a signature project, and that means that we have boots on the ground too. So we're actively involved in the classroom, building gingerbread men with the kids, giving away paints. This year we gave them all coats, but we have Rotarians, as many as 18 at a time, in the classroom doing some volunteer work. So there's a real engagement. We also do some family events. Twice a year we do a community family event and have our Rotarians participate in that as well. It is a partnership with the school district, as I said, but it also is a partnership with the rest of the community. Rotary, as I said, donated money from the foundation and we're actively involved, but we have a whole list of donors from the community, Initiative Foundation, Center Care, you can see the list there, as well as individual donors that gave $500 scholarships toward the program. We have a leadership committee, and on that leadership committee, we have United Way, and Amy will be talking about that a little bit. The Boys and Girls Club actually provided classrooms that first year because the school district didn't have classrooms. And Reach Up Head Start is also in the community, as well as district and Rotarians that form that leadership committee. The first year, we only had 3 classrooms, got a slow start because of a lack of opportunities for classrooms in the school district. So I had classrooms at the Boys and Girls Club. But as you can see, total so far, actually, when we combine the 90 kids that we have in the classroom this year, we'll have put in over $400,000 to this program over the 4 years and serviced 311 kids who would not have had preschool if they hadn't been part of this partnership. We have Assistant Superintendent Nikki Hansen on Zoom, and I think she's going to talk about the next 2 slides. Is Nikki there, Madam Chair?
I am here, Gayla. Good morning, Chair Kunich. Good morning, Educational Finance Committee. It's an honor to be here with you today to talk about this wonderful program within our community and give you some updates of our hopes and dreams and aspirations in spreading this across Minnesota. And so we're going to give a brief overview of some of the programs that we've had. We started this in 21-22. As Gayla mentioned, we started the programs for these classrooms in our community site. So we started at Roosevelt Boys and Girls Club and Southside Boys and Girls Club. We serviced at that time roughly 25 students. One of our biggest barriers in that first year was transportation. And so we knew that we needed to make a shift. It was also that pandemic period, which caused some additional challenges and barriers to our programming. That next school year, 22-23, we shifted programming back to our school locations. And so we created some space within our school sites, which also gave us the opportunity to partner with transportation and to provide transportation for programming. We also increased a classroom in that 22-23 school year. And so we had 2 classrooms in our 4-year-old programming at Talahi and Discovery Elementary Schools. And then we also added a 3-year-old classroom to Corey View. And so those 3 classrooms serve 6 sections, an AM and a PM class. It served around 96 students in 22-23 and 23-24. And then this current school year, we are continuing to partner for this Preschool for Success program. And we have shifted that 3-year-old classroom into 4s. We knew it was a goal of ours to work on that wait list and to provide access and opportunity for any students within our community who had registered. And so for this current school year 24-25, we have 3 classrooms in our elementary schools serving 6 sections of 4-year-old programming. And it has just been a true honor to partner with Preschool for Success and these wonderful community members. And so thanks for letting us be here today to share about our journey.
Thank you much for sharing all that good information. Next, we have Amy Trombley and then Brian Hart. If you'd like to join us up here and introduce yourself for the record, and you can begin.
Amy Trombley, a Rotarian and formerly with United Way of Central Minnesota and now currently with Initiative Foundation.
Madam Chair, I'm Brian Hart, a Rotarian and a retired business owner.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee, for listening to us today. I have the opportunity to share data with you, which I'm so excited to share, because while this is an amazing program and it's great to give access to kids, because we know when we invest early, there's a high return on that investment, and that's something we want to make sure that is happening in central Minnesota. And so when we look at these numbers here, we look at the reading level proficiencies of all students over time. And what we've recognized here is that we need to make sure that more of our young people have access to preschool so that they have the opportunities to learn and get off to a right start. Again, brain development happening 0 to 4 is so essential, with 80% of that happening. When we can capture that and instill those opportunities within our kids and support our families in doing that, that can be essential in making a difference for a lifetime. When you look at the next slide, what we'll see is that there are some really great retention rates with this program. And so as we build a really great education system and district within the St. Cloud area, what we're seeing is that 80% of the kids that are participating in this program stay in our district, which is key when there are a variety of options that young people in central Minnesota can take an opportunity to take advantage of in a really great mixed delivery model opportunity with public, private, and charter schools that are all options, to know that these kids are staying in the school district and appreciating the value that they are getting out there is also a return on that investment as well, from continuation in programming and creating relationships. Then when we look at the next slide, we're starting to see the data. And the district partnered with us in pulling this data, and what they did is they took a look at the proficiency rates of early reading of kids that participated in the program. So again, we started this in 2021. And so we're looking at the kids who are now in first grade and in kindergarten and their assessment scores. And if they're proficient or on target is what you're seeing in this chart, if there is some risk for those students or if they are high risk or in need of additional supports. And what we see here is, to keep it very simple and high level, if you have more questions, the kids who participated in the Preschool for Success program are more proficient, more likely to be proficient, more likely to be on target by 7.6%, so almost 8% higher than the district average. And that's huge, and we believe that it is very correlationary, because if you look at the next slide, you'll see some of those same types of results, and this is in math again. 10% of our kids are higher or more likely to be on target. And then when we go to the next slide, because those are general math and reading scores, you'll see something with skills. And what we see is that when we're able to teach skills directly, so young people, 3- and 4-year-olds, learning letter names and letter sounds on those next two, you'll have an even higher percentage. Because when kids have a great experience and they get to experience how to line up and how to sit next to each other and how to collaborate and how to play, which is really essential, we also know we need to be helping them with skills. And we see these strengths happening in both letter names and in letter sounds. You'll hear, Eric Putnam said, or Senator Putnam said, you get to hang out with the cool people and his friends. I'm probably not one of them, as I just espoused data to you, but it's really important for you to all see that not only is this a great program in concept and in a mixed delivery model where there's a public-private partnership so we can extend tax dollars as best as we possibly can, but you're also getting great results by not only these kids, but the adults in our community showing care for our kids and being able to experience those classroom results. Thank you.
Madam Chair and committee, thank you again for the opportunity to tell you about this program. And with Senator Putnam, I want to kind of celebrate the fact that we have started to build a model that we think can be replicated across the entire state to close the opportunity gap for kids to achieve. So we've already talked a little bit about, we've got this year 6 classrooms in 3 schools. We're working with 4-year-olds this year, 3 teachers and 3 paraprofessionals. So our private-public partnership splits that cost of those teachers and paraprofessionals 50-50. We're here today to talk about the importance of early childhood education and to try to make the program more sustainable. So we really have enjoyed great success. It has been a real treat to have an opportunity to bring Rotarians into the classrooms and to experience some really exemplary work. I'm just astonished when I see the teachers and the paras and how they interact and care for the kids. And we want to make sure that every kid in the community has an opportunity to have that same experience. And we know, and we're seeing data come in quickly now, that early access has a tremendous effect on their later education. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I think that's it for our team of testifiers.
Well, thank you for recognizing, first of all, that there is a need in your community, and then taking such a positive approach and hands-on approach to addressing those needs. We can't do everything here at the legislature, and we really do depend on organizations and allies such as the Rotarians to help make our communities the best communities that they can. And I was fortunate at one time to be a recipient of a teacher exchange through the Rotary Foundation. I went over to the Middle East. I went to Lebanon for 6 weeks, and it was an incredible learning experience, and it's one that I am eternally thankful to for the Rotary Foundation and the Rotarians. And I know we came back with some really good ideas about how we can make a difference for that country, but also for us as well. So thanks very much. Any questions or comments? Senator Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Senator Putnam, for bringing this. I'm going to go back to the second slide. It kind of piqued my interest. It said about 35,000 Minnesota kids don't have the expected skills to be ready for kindergarten. And I, of course, in my school district, I hear that all the time. They're like, every year it's worse and worse. Kids are showing up not ready for kindergarten. I'm just wondering if you could articulate what those expected skills are that these kids aren't showing up to school with.
Sure. I'll do my best, and then I know that Nikki hopefully will chime in as well. So thank you again for the chair, or for the question, Senator. First off, 5-year-olds are ready for kindergarten. Okay, I'm just going to say that. They are ready to go. But the expected skills that they may not show up with that help them be successful are a variety of things. So first off, a lot of times it's the basic skills of recognizing certain letters or having a basic foundation of literacy. So recognizing 10 letters, being able to know letter sounds, recognizing and being able to count to 10, and subitization when they're counting is an essential piece to build off on. But if they don't have that, that's where our educators need to be prepared and equipped to be able to facilitate that. There's social emotional regulation pieces that are also essential. So can they calm themselves down? Do they understand understand how to interact or take turns, which can also be some really key and essential components of early learning that really come into play when they're interacting with other people in a classroom setting. And then there's gross motor and fine motor skills. So, being able to hold the scissors and cut with the scissors, holding a pencil correctly. So pencil grasp is essential. And then some large motor skills, hopping on one foot, for example, or being able to effectively throw something and being able to then attend to tasks. So the functional skills of, can they sit for 5 minutes? Can they sit for 10 minutes? Do they know how to listen? Do they know how to advocate for themselves in a 5-year-old appropriate way? So those are some basic kinds of things. There's something called the Early Childhood Indicators of Progress that really lines them out. And our community within our 3 district areas, Sartell, St. Stephen, Sauk Rapids, Rice, and St. Cloud Area School District, all have some common understanding of metrics that they're looking for in preparedness for kindergarten, so that kids can start off with a foundation of expectation to be successful. And we're trying to also backfill that into our community with supporting the parents. And we do that within some different grant funding and dollars, which we didn't really talk about, but we've been able to support parents in also helping their children if they've been part of this program.
Thank you, Ms. Trombley. Any follow-up?
Yeah, and just a comment, I guess I'm glad to hear that you're talking about supporting parents, because I think a big question that we have to ask is, what is going on that every year less and less kids are showing up ready for school, and schools are being expected to do more and more. It used to be reading, writing, and arithmetic, and now we're expected to do so much more. And I think we really need to have a deeper conversation about why are kids showing up at school not able to sit still, and not able to focus, and they can't count to 10, and they can't tie their shoes, and they can't even use the bathroom in kindergarten without help. So I think that's a deeper question that we can't probably tackle today, but I'm glad that you said the part about working with parents, because I know I've been in meetings with parents and they're like, well, I don't know what to do with them. And I literally think they don't know what to do, and they need to learn some of these skills. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Gustafson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I agree, reading, writing, arithmetic, but as 2 social studies teachers sit here at the table, no one ever mentioned social studies, and come on. But thank you. Yeah, I agree. My mom, I'm from Senator Putnam's area. I grew up in Sartell. My mom was a preschool teacher. I think this is a great program, and I am really interested in it. And I know you probably covered this, so I'm really sorry, but can you tell me how the conversation got started again? Was it the Rotary that worked directly with the school district, or how did the partnership come?
It started with that Rotary district goal. It was a national goal, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we had a book club kind of group. We call it a night of erudition. And we read different journal articles and books, and we got together and had a discussion. And we do this every year on different topics. And out of that discussion, it became a passion. We need to do something about this in our community. And from that discussion, then we invited the school district to speak to us and share information and identify what their needs were, what they felt was really going to make a difference. And that idea of the need to start school ready came about. And some of the research we started gathering, and some from them, the idea emerged that we should partner with a preschool. But it came out of a book club, basically, of a group of 12 Rotarians. And I think 3 of us are sitting here that were in that first meeting. Eric was a guest speaker that night, and as well as the internal articles and books we had read. So that was the inception of it.
Follow up?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. That I was wondering. My mom, we're Catholic, and he knows in St. Cloud it's a big population, and so she taught at the Catholic school, and we would have obviously private partnership with anybody who couldn't afford preschool. But I am curious how that could work in public schools, and that is good to know. But I did have a question. It's escaped me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here today, and it's good. It's a good program. Thank you.
And it's really good to know that there are book clubs that actually read the books and discuss the books, and not just join to drink the wine. Thank you for doing that. Senator Swedzinski.
I also wonder why it's not social studies reading and writing and arithmetic. And so I don't know if I have a question. I guess I have a rhetorical question, or two actually, but on the next, oh, you went to thank yous. On the third slide in your presentation, this 37, we're 37th in the country with regards to access. We're behind Iowa and Wisconsin. And I just, as chair of ed policy, and I welcome somebody out there that has something to provide us with, that we're not 38th or 43rd or 37th. I'd love to have a hearing on, we're third in the nation in this, or fifth in the nation in this, or first in the nation. And so if anybody has an idea out there so that we can sing our praise, or praise our laurels, I'd love to, because these numbers are just bumming me out, and we're hearing a lot of them in the last few months. And so not to discourage, but on the more positive note, and my question for the Rotarians isn't anything to do with your testimony. It's about your role in Rotary. And I'm reading a book right now called, I almost said bowling for Columbine, Bowling Alone. And it's a great book about how we're no longer civically engaged and we've lost sight. We keep screaming about what our rights are, but no one ever screams, what are my responsibilities? And numbers from a generation ago of people involved in Rotary and Optimists and American Legions and VFWs used to be something that you participated in on a 1 or 2 days a week thing. And numbers have just plummeted, and now we just sit at home watching our screens all alone. Thus the title Bowling Alone in this great book. And so I don't know if we have time, but I'd love to know why you guys are so wonderful advocates for Rotary and wanting to belong to something larger than yourself. And so if you have like a 20-second answer that would give me hope and inspiration to that, I'd love it, but I don't want to take time away from the next bill either. So, but thank you for the role you are playing in trying to leave this world a little bit better than you found it.
We can each do 20 seconds, Senator Swedzinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. So as a preschool graduate of the St. Cloud Area School District, okay, so I started in preschool 47 years ago and still live in the area, and I think that has helped me connect to my community and be civically engaged. And I actually got involved with Rotary because of this Preschool for Success program, having been part of United Way of Central Minnesota and the Education Partnerships Coalition. The Rotary invited me to be part of this committee, and then they asked me to join Rotary, and it was really an honor to join Rotary because we have a phenomenal Rotary in St. Cloud. They do amazing things, and so that is how I got even more civically engaged than I was.
Ms. Holmgren?
I can't give you a 20-second answer to that, really, but I can say that we have a long history, and part of that is a signature project that is a project that we see a need in the community. And I think out of that we get visibility, and that visibility increases membership and increases knowledge of it, and it's kind of grows from there. And then I also wanted to comment to the social studies issues. We are planning on taking the kids to a children's history museum, so.
Thank you. And Mr. Hart.
Madam Chair, not much to add except that I got involved because of an interest in service and, of course, the Rotary model of service above self. More to the point, I had been invited by 2 Rotarians that told me about things that the Rotarian clubs in the area were doing in the community, and I thought, that's good work and I want to help. So.
Thank you so much. And then Senator Putnam.
Madam Chair, just if I can for a moment, quickly. I am a member of this club as well, but I'm a very bad one. I don't think I've been to a meeting in a couple of years because I'm here instead. But I do want to celebrate for a moment what St. Cloud's Rotary Ecology has been able to do. We hold a concert every week in the summer, and we talk about civic participation. That's about being together in the same space. And we have a concert, 10,000 people show up at Lake George. for a concert that's been put on by our Rotary Club. Have you
I've
ever
been there
Senator
every
Kunish?
summer, probably for the last 5 years.
That's because of these folks. I would say Rotary, but I'm a bad Rotarian, as I just demonstrated. Well, but these folks, especially Brian and Gayla, have been so incredibly involved in events like that bring people together. And one of the things that I love about Summertime by George in particular is that it brings people from everywhere, from the rural areas around from St. Cloud and from every different population in St. Cloud, all together in the same place to listen to the same cover band. It's a good thing. And our Rotary Club has been incredibly successful and incredibly active. And I think that this opportunity, this bill here, Preschool for Success, is an opportunity for us to sort of demonstrate confidence in that work and to encourage it. And to demonstrate also to other communities that this is something that they can do as well. And the state support helps us with that credibility and that confidence in continuing to do the work itself.
Wonderful, thank you. And Senator Maquay just want to make a quick comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm so glad that you all are here. The only reason I'm not a member of my Rotary is because they meet at 7:30 in the morning, and that was early for me, and now it's late for me because I have a toddler. So it just never quite worked out. But this is just phenomenal, and I have that toddler. She's in a preschool, and I didn't know that they could learn all of their numbers and their colors and their sounds by 2.5. I mean, that's really where she's at. But I do think, and I think communities are actually best suited to find the best methods of early learning for kids. I don't think it has to be one type of program, one type of location. I think that like mixed delivery is the best delivery, and communities figuring that out is so great. And that's really why I love what you've done. I will say that, we know, like at this point, we all have to know that either kids have early learning experiences that set them up for the rest of their life, or they don't. And we make choices in this legislature to either fund that or not. And so I'm looking at this bill and I'm like, yeah, and how can we do this in every single community across the state? And budgets are choices too, they're moral documents, and I will say it's expensive to do early learning, but it's more expensive to not, for everybody involved, individual up to the system. And I'll just make the pitch that we make 2-year budgets, we budget out things that we are going to spend money on, but we actually never go back and look at our tax exemptions. We don't look at those ever. They just happen in perpetuity. And so I'll say, for example, if we made data centers pay the taxes that the rest of us pay, we would have $230 million more in a biennium that we could fund early learning with. And I would love to do things like that. And so I think this is great. I think we could do a lot more of this stuff. And I think we can't afford to not. And I'm really looking forward to having that conversation.
Thank you, Senator. And with that, any final words, or was your eloquence earlier your final message?
I just want to thank you again, Madam Chair and members, both for the hearing and for appreciating some of the great work that we're doing in central Minnesota. And also make one final appeal for the funding itself, because as Senator McQuaid mentioned, this is cheaper because we're splitting the bill with the people, with philanthropy. And to note as well that with explicit state support of this program, that can be leveraged for increased philanthropic involvement. So I'm making, again, just an appeal, not only for the good feeling in the room, but perhaps for the checkbook as well, Madam Chair. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for driving down from St. Cloud to the Twin Cities. And so with that, Senator Kunish moves that Senate File 328 as amended be recommended to pass and is referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. This is the first time that we get to move things around for the DCYF jurisdiction issues. So all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? It does pass on to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
All right, our last bill of the day, Senator Clark's Senate File 2002. This is an introductory hearing on the topic, and we will come back and discuss this bill after we receive the forecast and when we're able to get a fiscal note. So Senator Clark, welcome. This is your first presentation, and we wish you well. Would you like to move Senate File 2002 before the committee?
So moved.
Wonderful. And you have an A1 amendment?
Yes.
Would you like to move that as well?
So moved. The A1 amendment gets the bill in the shape that I like to have it in for the conversation of this bill.
Any questions or comments about the A1 amendment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, amendment accepted. Senator Clark, would you like to speak to your bill?
Sure thing. It's good to be on this side of the podium. The last time I was on this side of the podium was 1994, appearing before a House committee as a 15-year-old. Yeah. All right, this bill accomplishes three things, and it's that we are going to provide a site-level hold harmless for districts in fiscal year 2026, to increase the building allocation flexibility from 20% to 40%, and most importantly, this bill brings back paper forms in perpetuity. So in regard to providing site levels held harmless for districts in fiscal year 2026, that is, the districts will receive a greater of the pupil units calculated for FY 2024 or FY 2026. These students would be identified by direct certification or educational benefits. 2, we're going to increase building allocation flexibility from 20 to 40%. Under current law, only 20% of compensatory revenue may be reallocated to other buildings in the district where students did not specifically generate that compensatory revenue. This is going to help districts move funds to sites that could have struggled more with either form collection or direct certification. And the third, and I think the most important piece, is this bill brings back paper forms in perpetuity. Now, included in your packet is a form that talks about district level information about the percent of students that can only be identified using educational benefit forms. Now, we know that forms are required for many federal funding streams to schools, including Title I, and by identifying through both direct certification and paper forms, we can close the, on average, 12 to 14% gap that exists. Now, to note on my amendment, the bill was drafted by the other body and did include a task force to review direct certification. Since we are including a permanent fix by bringing back forms to supplement direct certification, it didn't feel like a working group was necessary. We can continue to review direct certification going forward, and would love to continue working with the department and advocacy groups on this going forward. As Chair Kunish said, this is the beginning of the conversation, and I'm excited that we get to start it now.
Thank you, Senator Clark. And we have a couple of testifiers. Matt Shaver from Ed Allies, if you'd like to join us.
Chair Kunish, members of the committee, good morning. I'm Matt Shaver. I'm a teacher and I'm the Senior Policy Director at Ed Allies. We're education advocates for kids. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on Senate File 2002 as amended. And thank you to Senator Clark for authoring the bill. Compensatory revenue is a big, complicated funding stream, and it's good to have another set of hands to work on it. It's an organizational priority for us to fairly fund schools based on student need. In fact, I just finished serving on a statewide funding task force with the esteemed Superintendent Unowski and others, organized by MDE, that just published an 80-page report filled with recommendations, best practices, and research on this very topic. So compensatory revenue is our state's best lever for coordinating resources to schools serving lots of students with high needs. It's imperative we get it right. The formula honors the reality that two schools with the same overall enrollment but different student poverty levels have very different resource needs. And at the same time, there are major issues with how we count kids for the purpose of generating compensatory dollars, how the formula treats those students, and what districts can do with those funds. For example, this formula that exists to give schools additional resources to support students in poverty somehow both penalizes schools for serving too many students in poverty and penalizes schools for serving kids not quite in poverty enough. And at times, these dollars have also been allowed to be moved away from the very students who generated those dollars, robbing them of the resources their family's income status brings to the school. In 2023, the legislature set the requirement that at least 80% of the funds generated by students in a building go to the education of the students who generated it. Without these protections, high poverty schools in a district may end up subsidizing low poverty schools in the same district, which can kneecap the impact of the dollars. Compensatory revenue exists to provide additional funding based on the accumulation of student need within a building, not within a district, so the funds ought to be spent that way. We urge the legislature to hold the line and keep at least 80% of compensatory dollars at the site they are generated at. Don't dilute the potency of a concentration formula by letting the funds be used elsewhere. And finally, the forms. We support editing the forms back to the count of students who generate compensatory revenue for now. Doing this will cast the widest possible net to find students who should be generating compensatory dollars. I want to thank you, Mr. Arneson, for putting together that spreadsheet that lays out the proportion of free and reduced price eligible students determined only by application for fall 2024. It's helpful to see the scope of issues that districts are dealing with. There's a big range, and the average and median is super helpful. The statewide average for all LEAs was 13%, and the median was 9%. LEAs can be kind of weird, so I took out the 0% and recalculated again, and the statewide average was around 14%, median was 9.5%. Traditional districts, the average was about 11.5%, median 9.2. So somewhere in that range of, as Senator Clark mentioned, around 12, 13, 14% of all kids who should be generating compensatory dollars would be doing so through those forms. So we support bringing those back, but that's not the only path we could take. We could take the direct certification count and multiply that by the statewide or regional average to make a solid estimate of students who should be generating these funds. We could just increase the amount of funding a student identified through direct certification generates proportionally. Adding the forms back to the count only guarantees us that we'll go back to doing what we've always done. It doesn't guarantee the process will be more accurate, efficient, or family-friendly. We are generally supportive of Senate File 2002 as amended. I am sad to see the task force go. Like the Oscars the other night, it really was an honor just to be nominated. But we don't need a task force to do the right thing for kids. And while there are solid short-term solutions proposed here, kids deserve more than Band-Aids and the status quo in the long term. And we're hopeful you can lead on that, Senator Clark. I want to thank you all for your service to the state.
Thank you, Mr. Shaver. And is Superintendent Onowski either in the audience? Oh, he is online? I am not seeing him online. Okay. All right. And so next we'll invite Sammy Rajab up, Director of the Government Relations for the Minnesota Department of Education. Welcome to the committee, Mr. Rajab. If you'd like to state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. My name is Sammy Rajab, Assistant Director of Government Relations at the Minnesota Department of Education. Thank you for the opportunity to provide some brief testimony on Senate File 2002. I first want to communicate MDE's general support for providing a fix for compensatory revenue for fiscal year 26 by using the current fiscal year 25 definition for compensatory pupil units, which includes meals forms in addition to direct certification, and using the greater of 2022 or 2024 October 1st student counts in the calculation of the compensatory formula for fiscal year 26. This bill keeps compensatory revenue consistent and stable between fiscal years 25 and 26. This consistency will provide more time for districts and charters to strategically support the services funded by compensatory revenue for some of our most at-risk and underserved students. The governor has also included this component in his bill. However, we recommend that this committee also consider including the governor's proposal to create a working group to analyze the compensatory formula and recommend how to improve it in future years. Changes in direct certification counts between pandemic and post-pandemic years have not been adequately evaluated at this time, including future trends and the impacts of changes to Medicaid eligibility. Within 1 year of extra validation, MDE and working group members will be able to evaluate trends and changes in pupil counts, allowing for better analysis and recommendations for potential changes to the compensatory revenue formula. Thank you to Senator Clark for bringing forward this important proposal to provide stability and time for our districts and charters to best provide for our students.
Thank you so much. And I don't see Mr. Onowski online again. So members, we will take questions or comments. And Senator Lang, you had your finger up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. Like the bill. I think it's a good move. I kind of wish the department would have stayed at the table with you because I'm siding with you against them on the task force. And you can come back up because I do have a question for you. Thank you. One thing, you're providing a lot of flexibility to schools, and I appreciate that. And that's, I think, some place where this committee is going to have to go in the next few weeks, especially after our forecast comes out and what that flexibility looks like, I think starts with things like this. As far as the task force goes, I think that's a mistake everybody in the legislature has made. Let's just make a task force and have them figure it out. I think both sides of the aisle have done that. So I appreciate the fact that you pulled that out. With the 20 and 40%, why was it 20 and 40? Was that just a simple doubling, or was there a reasoning behind that?
Senator Clark?
Senator Chair Kunish and Senator Lang, it was largely to provide ongoing flexibility. So 20% seemed to be working well, and 40% provides where we've gotten some feedback on here is a bit more opportunity. I think I turn to MDE perhaps if you have further insight.
Senator, excuse me, Mr. Rajab.
Madam Chair, Senator, I'd be happy to connect with our school finance team at MDE to provide further clarification on that and more insight on the changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I guess my question is morally related to why don't we just let them spend what they want on that? Why is it limited 2040? Why does that matter? That's a very fancy way of saying I don't know. I appreciate that. But along those same lines, Madam Chair, I have had some thoughts. I read through this bill before. Again, I'm supportive of your bill. How do we provide that flexibility to schools, right? Especially with the upcoming budget forecast that I'm concerned about. I represent all or some of 22 different school districts, and that comes with 22 different superintendents. That comes with 22 school boards. How do we provide those schools with flexibility? So, Madam Chair, I have the A3 amendment, if we could get that passed out.
All right.
And I know this probably is a little premature because it's before Thursday, but I thought it fit well into your bill.
Senator Lang, if you'd like to begin explaining the A3 amendment while we pass it out.
Sure thing, Madam Chair. So the first part of it, Section 7, talks about fund transfers from within a school district's own budget. It provides them a lot more flexibility as they proceed forward with their budgetary cycle on where they can move money from one account to another, notwithstanding federal objections. The second part of it is a little more hard to swallow, Madam Chair, and that is relief from what we've so-called mandates that the legislature has placed upon school. Now, this is something that all my school districts have talked to me about again and again and again. And Madam Chair, I don't even want to talk about the validity of what those mandates are. I think we're beyond that point. I think we're to a point where we can say, we pass these mandates, we pass these policy ideas, we pass these programs that schools have looked at. As a school district, if you so choose to do these and have the money to do so, by all means. But for the time being, especially with the upcoming budget forecast, you have the ability to say, as a school district, this is the reason we're going to back away from this one. This is why financially, and hopefully it can help make our school districts whole. Because, Madam Chair, when we had all those schools in here testifying just a few weeks ago, I was very concerned on the way that they talked, how much money they were going to be short. And Madam Chair, really the thing that scares the heck out of me is the fact that they were talking about laying off teachers. And I know we're going to have to be looking at that as a committee. How do we stop that from happening? And I think this is one way of doing it. So with that, Madam Chair.
Senator Clark, any response to this A3 amendment?
Thank you, Chair Kunish. Thank you, Senator Lang. In short, I applaud your focus on ensuring that we're getting funds into our schools, and that's what the focus on my bill really does, is ensuring that where we have the highest need, we are getting the highest dollars. And so I'm happy to be in ongoing conversation. Just seeing this, I would ask that we either lay this amendment over or say no, as I'm not quite certain where all the entanglements that you are including in this.
Senator Lang, any comment to that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. All I would say is there's definitely a lot of entanglements in this. That was kind of the point, to get the conversation started.
Certainly. And Senator Lang, I hear what you're doing here, trying to undo all the good work that we've done in the last part of the last 2 years, and also making sure that there's accountability in a lot of the different ways in the funding that we put out there. You talk about what scares the heck out of you. What scares the heck out of me is the uncertainty from the federal government. And certainly that is going to have all of, the impact on the next fiscal years that we go forward. It's almost impossible to ascertain what's going to happen. The threats of shutting down the Department of Education, strings attached. You want to talk about mandates and strings attached that are coming. And so I would also second Senator Clark's suggestion that we vote no on this amendment, as we have no idea what the future holds for the finance of Minnesota. This is not the way to do it, and I think that we are very much beyond those mandates. So with that, Senator Gustafson, you had a comment? Oh, Senator Rarick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Clark, you don't recognize this. You haven't been here, so I understand why you wouldn't understand this. But the rest of the committee, this is the exact amendment that I've been bringing for 2 years now. And if we listen to our superintendents earlier this year, this is exactly what they're asking for. And this is not saying that any of these things that we passed in the last 2 years go away. It's just allowing them to push them down the road up to 3 years, giving them that flexibility they need to incorporate it. If we listen to our smallest schools, they just don't have the manpower to make this all happen in the time frame that we gave them. Adopting this amendment is the answer to what they were asking for. And again, this is what they know is coming. We can talk about a fear of what might happen from the federal government. Those are things we have to continue to watch and see what it's going to be. But we know exactly what we passed the previous 2 years, and we've heard specifically from our school districts that they cannot get there and make it happen. And this amendment gets there. And I think this goes very well with this bill, because it's the things that we've been talking about that, again, we have the bill in front of us today because we were making these exact claims, what was going to happen if we did the free meals for all kids, that the paperwork wasn't going to be filled out, that the direct certification wasn't in a place that it needed to be to make sure this was dealt with. So I do appreciate that we're finally dealing with that here in front of us, because that was not dealt with for the last 2 years. So I'm glad we have the underlying bill helping take care of that in front of us. But this is another piece with this amendment that our school districts are asking for to help them make it through these next couple years. Again, we're not saying that they won't eventually get there and do these things. It's just giving them the time that they need to incorporate it into their curriculums or into their schools.
Senator Mayquade.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Lang, in a committee where we should bring scalpels, you've brought a very dull broadsword. This amendment would say that any changes that we made to special education law, any changes we made to malicious and sadistic conduct in school, any changes we made to the READ Act, this would allow schools to say, you know what, we don't want to change the way that we're teaching reading, even though it's not working, and we're just going to push that out. This is 3-4 more years of students potentially not learning to read, and you want to push that out 3 more years? I think this is wild. When we had school districts come here, they gave really specific examples of a timeline that could be changed or a word that could be amended. I mean, there's nothing that said, hey, everything you did in the last 2 years, all the money you gave the school districts after 20 years of underfunding, we finally tied the formula to inflation. We finally paid schools back.
it's going to take a long time for districts to dig out of that hole. Underfunding for 2 decades is going to take a long time for districts to dig out. You can't solve that in 2 years. But we're definitely not going to solve anything if we're pushing out the READ Act or special education changes or our curriculum changes and our standard changes, which are in process, out 3 years. This would be completely unworkable, and nobody asked for this. And so I'm going to urge members to vote no and really encourage folks to be precise. This is kind of lazy legislating, and this isn't the way that we would do anything that would actually result in anything positive for districts. So this isn't what anybody asked for, and I'm going to ask folks to vote no.
Thank you. Senator Farnsworth?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have, as you might have guessed, a lot of comments. First, though, I'd like to ask Mr. Aronson a question, because we just heard 20 years of underfunding. But I believe, and we probably have the clip, on our first or second committee, we heard and you confirmed that education spending in Minnesota has exceeded the rate of inflation, I think to the tune of 5.6%. I don't have it in front of me. I just want to verify that that was in fact what you had said.
So, Senator Farnsworth, we are speaking to this amendment, and
Chair, if Senator McQuaid gets to make accusations, then I think we deserve the answer rather than have you try and cut it off.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're not going to bring testifiers up on the amendment, but you can state your opinion as well, and you can follow up with that. Apparently, we have somebody here that can speak to that at our table. Mr. Aronson.
Madam Chair and members, Senator Farnsworth referenced a presentation made by Senate Council Research and Fiscal Analysis Office on the, I think it was the 22nd of January. And there was a slide in that deck compiling data available from the MDE Data Center, displaying the amount of school district combined general fund revenues and the percent change per pupil from fiscal year 2003 through fiscal year 2029. And after adjustment for inflation under the Consumer Price Index, over that period, general fund revenues per pupil have increased approximately 29%, 30%, somewhere in that ballpark.
Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for permitting that. So this argument that we have been underfunding schools for 20 years is just false. We have been funding schools greater than the rate of inflation. We're hearing an awful lot about this, everybody's shaking in their boots about federal funding. We had $18 billion, and it's gone. This train has been coming. It has been bearing down on us for 30 years. I remember in 1989, I was 11 or 12 years old, on the way to school in my dad's truck. On the radio, they announced that the national debt hit $3 trillion. And I remember thinking, wow, that seems like a lot. And it doubled to about $7 trillion around 2000. It's $36 trillion. The time of the scalpel is gone. We have seen this train bearing down on us, and when we had $18 billion and we had about $5 billion in structural surpluses, what did we do? We wasted it. We wasted $18 billion. We gave the taxpayers like $260. And so this fake fear of losing federal funding is laughable, because we could have been prepared for this, and we weren't. And our schools are begging for help, and what Senator Lang is offering is the help that our schools are asking for. And we should do this. We should accept this amendment to give our schools time to figure out what they're going to do, because we didn't prepare for them. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We hear the mandates, and I understand that this is a hot topic for Republicans, and they don't like to talk about the federal funding freeze because it's uncomfortable, and so they bring up the $18 million surplus. That went to roads, bridges, and schools. It went to help our kids. It went to help our seniors. It went to help our communities. We can run through all of the great things that we spent that money on. A lot of you voted for it. So that's not there. But the 10% in our education funding that comes from the federal government would make a huge impact. When you're talking about school districts begging for money and coming in here and asking for a formula increase, and a lot of these proposals that you're bringing forward, some of them I've joined you on. School equalization is a good example of bringing more money back into my school districts. And I'm with you, let's work on those things. But saying that we should just disregard the potential funding freeze that's coming to our public education system, that's 10%. What is that, something like 1.5 billion per year? It's an insane amount, and it's nothing to gloss over because we don't know what's coming. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. That's the point, it's chaos and nobody knows because they don't know what they're doing either. So I understand that this is meant to hit Democrats on all of the really good things that we did for schools in 2023. If you want to gut out things like paid family medical leave for teachers, then go ahead and vote for this amendment. But then you're going to have to answer to all the teachers in your districts who have to plan their emergency surgeries or, God forbid, a car accident during the summer when it's convenient. We talk about like supporting teachers. There are a lot of teachers at this table. And we would love to tell you our experiences about how the legislature in the past has supported us and how they have let us down. But voting yes on this amendment is not supporting teachers. It's just not. And the amount of money that the schools received in 2023 was more than they've gotten any time before. It was historic. So happy to work on individual things that we can improve on. Always, my door is open. But to just gut out everything we did in 2023, unacceptable. And that is not helping schools or teachers.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If we read the amendment that's in front of us, the relief from the mandate section only deals with Chapter 109 and 115. Paid family leave, earned sick and safe time are not in there, so let's keep the conversation to what the amendment is about. This is about what we specifically put on schools around their curriculums and around what they have to do in their classrooms, in their schools, that so many of our small schools did come right into this room and tell us they can't make it work. That's what this amendment is getting at, and we've said that over and over.
All right. So members, with that, we are going to go ahead and vote on
Just one closing comment,
oh,
Madam
go
Chair.
ahead.
I didn't really intend on this to get quite so heated. I know I'm new to this committee, but I'm becoming very passionate about my schools. And I've listened very closely to them. I've listened closely to the schools that you guys represent. And I'm not trying to gut what you did in the last 2 years. I'm really not. I don't even really want to talk about it. I just want to talk about the fact that we're facing a problem that we do know about. And that's a deficit of this state. That's a deficit of the school districts. Senator Gustafson, I know that you guys put a lot of money into schools. I didn't mind that. That was a good thing. A lot of money. But it also came with a huge load, a huge pile of mandates that they needed to comply with. I had all my superintendents texting me right away saying, we're going to be in the red when we get this money. We need to somehow make this work. I don't even, some of the mandates are good things. I've seen this stuff. My point is that we have to have them be able to make ends meet. We have to. And we're not going to have the money to increase the formula 5% and 5%. We're just not. So with that, Madam Chair, thanks for the time.
All right. So with that, we are going to take a roll call on this amendment. Unless you want
Well, dull maybe.
a voice vote. Okay. All in favor of this amendment, say aye. All opposed? No. The amendment does not pass. Senator Clark, we do have your last, we are over time if everybody would give us a few more extra minutes. Senator Onowski, Superintendent Onowski, if you would like to introduce yourself and then you may begin.
Thank you, Chair Kurnish. Sorry about that. Technology, if it only could do what we wanted it to, there might not be a need for all of us. So I'm Dr. Steve Yanowski, Superintendent of Richfield Public Schools. I'm here to speak in support of the overall bill. And really what I want to talk about with the committee is a couple of things. Hearing the conversation, first, there is a symbiotic relationship between mandates and funding. One without the other doesn't get the job done in schools. And so we need to figure out how to marry those two things together. And one of the areas that we're trying to support is in compensatory education. Richfield Public Schools is a first-tier suburb of the Twin Cities, and we had 62% free and reduced lunch. And then we had 51% free and reduced lunch, and the change was free lunch for all. Then in 2022, we had 62% free lunch again, and our poverty rate went up. And then we went to direct certification, and now we're back down to 51%. And so the impact on compensatory education of how we've implemented that was a $1.7 million reduction leading up to 2022, and then a $1.7 million increase back to where we were, historically at the level of 62% free and reduced. Now we're sitting back again. We are one of the 10 biggest losers in the state of Minnesota for compensatory education funding. Without fixing the formula, the methodology, we are looking at a reduction of $1.7 million again. So right now I'm either left to believe that the poverty rate in Richfield has moved by 11% repeatedly in the last 5 years, or we have some formulaic problems that need to be fixed by this bill. The only way we can do that is not just direct certification alone. The way we can do that is by supporting the overall governor's fix and holding sites harmless, not just districts, but then also fixing the formula long-term, because as we think about the conversation we just had related to amendments and compensatory education, marrying that symbiotic relationship between mandates and long-term funding is the only way we can, as school districts, make this happen. I can make this happen. I can make it all happen in the time frames. I just need the funding for our team members and for that funding to be consistent and predictable. So I'm speaking here in support of this bill and long-term fixes, the things we're trying to implement in schools. So thank you very much, Chair Kunish and members of the committee.
Thank you so much. Senator Clark, any response? And we are out of time, so if you would like to make this your final comments, that'd be great.
Thank you, Chair Kunish. I think the superintendent's closing piece on stability and consistency versus all editorialized versus chaos is sort of the point here. This is to provide an ongoing clarity of how we are providing the compensatory aid funding. So with that, I thank you, Chair Kunish.
Thank you so much, Senator. So with that, Senator Clark, Senate File 2002 is laid over as amended for possible inclusion in a future omnibus bill. Members, tomorrow we will be hearing from full-service community schools, community education, and adult basic education programs. There will not be a hearing next Thursday. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.